Hi, I'm Naomi and I'm here to talk about the Bloody Scotland Crime Festival that was on in Stirling just this past weekend. Waterstones have been the official bookseller of the festival since 2012 when it started, and in fact in 2012 I was responsible for sorting out the books on behalf of Waterstones, so for that reason the festival has always had a really special place in my heart. The festival was conceived by Alex Gray and Lynn Anderson, two fantastic crime authors who you should check out if you haven't already. They were lamenting the fact that they kept having to travel south down to England to go to any large crime festival, and so they had the idea to set up one of their own in Scotland. The product of that was Bloody Scotland. So this is my slightly well-worn programme that's been carried around in my bag for a little while, so excuse the dog ears. The festival this year was absolutely amazing. It started off with a torchlight parade coming down from the castle to the entrance of the Albert Halls in Stirling. The parade was headed by Ian Rankin, who's actually unbelievably celebrating 30 years of rebus novels, and Val McDermott, who is celebrating 30 years in the crime writing industry. So congratulations to both those two authors on their long careers. There were so many amazing authors this year, just to kind of name a few. There was Peter May, Chris Brookmeyer, Mark Billingham, Linda LaPlante was there, James Oswald, Karen Rose, Vince Cable launching his first thriller, and so many more that I couldn't possibly mention all of them in time in this video, but thank you so much for making the weekend so special, everyone. Next year, Bloody Scotland is going to be from the 21st to the 23rd of September 2018. So I would recommend that if you think Bloody Scotland might be a weekend you'd like to attend, I'd book your accommodation, your travel as far in advance, perhaps even start looking into it now. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the winner of the McIlvanney Prize this year. The prize used to be called the Bloody Scotland Crime Book of the Year, but it was since renamed the McIlvanney Prize after William McIlvanney's death in 2015. He was known as the father of tartan noir. He was an absolutely huge influence to so many crime authors that we know today. I had the pleasure of meeting him at the very first Bloody Scotland Crime Festival, and he was an absolute gentleman and a great talent who's very sadly missed. I would honestly recommend checking out any of his books, but specifically Laidlaw would be a fantastic place to start, as again, it's a classic of the genre. So congratulations to Denise Mina for her winning novel, The Long Drop. She is the first female winner of the McIlvanney Prize, so that in and of itself is a milestone. The book I really enjoyed. It's quite a difficult thing to write about. She's actually writing about a real person. Peter Manuel was the first convicted serial killer in Scotland. I think she's been very respectful to the people involved in the case. This novel's actually based on a play that she wrote a few years ago called, I think, Driving Peter Manuel. It focuses on a sort of lost evening that Peter Manuel drove around and drank a lot with a man named William Watt. William Watt was actually, unfortunately, a man whose entire family was killed, and Peter Manuel was subsequently convicted of the crime. He was away on a fishing trip on the night of the crime. However, the police did look at him extensively as a possible suspect for the case. So why he would drive around one night with Peter Manuel is quite the mystery. It's not really been recorded anywhere, and this sort of lost evening captured Denise Mina's imagination clearly, and she's kind of spun her sort of creativity onto this event. So essentially it's a ride through Glasgow's underworld. It's grimy, it's dirty, it's very dark. There are some very dangerous characters lurking in these bars. These bars are all smoke and sawdust on the floor and full of people that you would not want to meet in a million years. And I think Denise Mina really sets a scene very well, this sort of late 50s Glasgow, and the cast of dangerous gangsters, real people like Dandy Mackay, known as such because he was colourblind, and he used to dress very colourfully in clashing colours, but obviously no one wanted to mention this to him because he was quite a volatile character. So a lot of these people are real. A particularly emotive scene in the novel is when one of Peter Manuel's victims' fathers gets on the stand to give evidence about the last sort of encounter that he had with his daughter. And it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because you know that he's sitting there, on one hand, wanting to do justice for his daughter, wanting to stand up for her, to speak for her because she no longer can. And on the other hand, he's hurting, and he's trying to keep this together. He's trying to be a man, whatever that's supposed to mean. And all the while, he's sitting directly across from Peter Manuel, the man that stalked, raped, and then murdered his daughter. So that scene was so powerful and incredibly well done, but also respectful at the same time to the family of the girl. The women in the novel are particularly well written. There is Peter Manuel's mother. I think Denise Mina gets across the duality of her character very well. On one hand, she is this man's mother. She loves him. She's brought him up. He's everything to her. But then on the other hand, she's a religious woman who just cannot understand that he's committed these awful acts, and she loathes him for it. So on one hand, she loves him. On the other, she loathes him. So it's a very difficult place to be in, and I think a very difficult type of character to write, which is why I think it's so successful for her. Something that Denise Mina does in the novel is she will swing around into the future. She will turn around and say, yes, we're here at this building now, but later this building will be leveled and there will be a beautiful set of flats here instead. So I like how she intermingles the old Glasgow, which I don't know, from the 1950s, and the new Glasgow, which I'm incredibly, familiar with now. And to kind of accentuate this, the publisher have chosen to do end papers of the old Glasgow map, and then at the other side you have the new Glasgow map. So you can actually compare and contrast where these venues, these dive bars that they go to, these really dangerous places, how they sit on the map then, and also where they sit on the map nowadays. Peter Manuel is a very difficult character to read about because he's such an intrinsically bad person. He's cruel and violent, and someone you would never want to cross paths with in your entire life. And he's got this kind of swagger to him, which is quite sickening when you sort of look back on it. This confidence that he wasn't going to be caught. He's almost sort of grandstanding. There's at one point he gives a lift to a police officer. Ultimately, I'd recommend this novel to anyone who likes crime or even the true crime genre. I think it would be worth reading this book. The only crime novel I can think of to compare it to, because it is quite unique, is perhaps the Red Riding series by David Peace. That obviously has the background of the Yorkshire Ripper case, but on top is layered David Peace's own detective narrative. I think she's been incredibly successful in her characterization, in her settings, her locations, and it's quite a taboo subject. So I do give her credit for approaching this very difficult topic with a fresh take on things. And I think she's definitely a worthy winner of the McIlvanney Prize this year. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you are interested in hearing more from me, from other booksellers, authors, and everyone else in between who inhabits this channel, please subscribe to us. Thanks very much. I shall see you next time. Bye-bye.